In 1943, when a large chunk of the working population was off to the war, they were casting about for people to be in the movies, and they needed a lot of movies because all these soldiers going overseas wanted to watch something, and so suddenly the movie industry became different from before. This combined with a more upsetting trend of segregation, where before about 1940 a black person could be in a movie and they would be playing a servant of some sort. It's not a coincidence that the very first black Oscar was to a role of a servant, in the one in Gone with the Wind. So it was either servants or it was some sort of entertainment. And so they had these people who were playing servants and entertainment, and then they were starting to phase them out of actual being in movies. They wanted, I'm not sure who, but society wanted segregation for that. But then a lot of the male population went away overseas, and they had the entertainment. They had a need for glitzy movies. And so they made an all-black cast movie. Hollywood made it. It is full of Hollywood money, which is wonderful because they have plenty of money to go around, which is very, Dutch movie industry and any indie industry always has a lack of money. This thing does not have a lack of money. That is so good. Also, it doesn't have a lack of talent, which is also very good. We have Lena Horne as the young lady. You have to have a young lady she can sing, she can dance, she can do lines. We have Bill Robinson to play somebody with nearly the same name, and that's not a coincidence. And he is a good singer, great dancer, and he can deliver lines, as in do the acting. And that is one of the problems that they have with this movie. They have all these acts who were used to be the entertainment in a lot of these movies, but not all of them could actually read lines. They were there just to sing a song or do a dance. Especially when they did a dance, they didn't even have a right voice to say anything with. So you have a bunch of acts. There's 20 songs in this movie. Most of them are actually dance acts and whatnot. In a movie of an hour and 20 minutes, you have 20 acts. That's one act per 6 minutes. That's a lot. And basically that's what this movie is. It's a showcase for all these different wonderful acts that had no more showcase at all. So this movie is famous for having a bunch of acts of which the people died pretty soon after. This is the only time they were ever on a proper, well-produced piece of celluloid. So wonderful. But not enough actors to actually do lines. So you have Lena Horne and you have this Bill Robinson. And they're good. They have Dooley Wilson as the helpful friend. And basically, you have Fats Waller who plays Fats Waller. He plays himself. He does some lines. He's mostly there for the playing of the piano and the singing, but he does some lines and they're pretty credible. And there's I didn't write them down. There's a comedy act of two people who do lines. And I think with the comedy act, I think it may have been that they weren't available for much. So they have like one scene there to say a couple of lines just to each other. And then another scene saying lines to each other. And then they have their performance. So I think they may have just been there for like a couple of hours or maybe a couple of days. And not enough to actually incorporate their storyline into the story. So the story itself is kind of bogus. They needed the story to put all these acts in. So they cast about and basically they took Bill Robson's own bio and put in a nice lady and go. So they start because Bill Robson is old enough to have been in World War I. And so they start with World War One. And I had to look this up because he talks about a black battalion in World War One. And I was going, was there one? There was. There weren't terrifically many black people in World War One for the on the American side, and they were sent over to Europe, but they basically were maintenance crews and doing all the other stuff and not much of the fighting. So, I mean, I don't like the segregation of this, but I'm glad he was not in the middle of the fighting, because that sucked, especially World War One sucked buckets. He came back, and he was a musician beforehand, and he became a musician again. Musician, and he's famous for being a tap dancer, and he's a pretty credible singer. I liked his singing, and I really liked his acting. I think I've never seen him in anything before. Um, Oh, I think he was in the Shirley Temple, where Shirley Temple, as a very small girl, dances with this butler, the black butler. I think he's the black butler. So I'd have to look that up, but I think that's him. So he's wonderful, and these old black and white movies where when you have a black skin, I think he's actually really dark, because like Lena Horne, and I've seen her in a couple of colored things, she's quite, for a black person, quite on the light side. And a lot of the people who are employed in Hollywood who are black are on the light side. And the black and white film actually lightens it up accidentally. Black and white film lightens up everyone. I'd be so pale I'd have to do makeup to come out, or I'd be just one white face, you know. I like that he's so nice and dark. I really enjoyed it. I would have liked for there to be a lady who was also nice and dark, but I understand why that is not. She wouldn't have gotten anywhere in Hollywood. And all these people are Hollywood people who have been playing side acts in many other things, like the butler in the Shirley Temple thing. Like the dancing act, or if you have like a drama and they go to a nightclub and there's a singer, it would be a black singer, you know. And especially for somebody like Lena Horne, it's so nice that she actually gets to star in something, because she is star material, and Hollywood did see that. But if there's a socio-political movement away from this kind of movies, you can make the movie but nobody goes to it. That would suck. But she's wonderful. She is, I think, he is definitely the male star, and she's definitely the female star. She can carry it. She sings wonderfully. She dances beautifully. Not tap. She does more of the ballroom kind of dancing, and she acts also wonderfully. So those are all the good things about this movie. is those two. The story, like I said, it is sort of his own bio, used as a template to give it some, I don't know, pizzazz. They start off in 1918, when he comes back, and he goes to one club, and there's a lady who sings a song, and they go to, and he meets her, and his friend is there. The story, and also I think the spoken text, are kind of very improvised, very improv. Even the guy, his friend, keeps telling tall stories to girls to impress him. He has no money, but he pretends like he has oodles. It's all, his life is an improv, and I think the story is an improv, and the dialogue is an improv. It's not the bestest dialogue, but the way they bring it, every single person who has a line brings it well. So they pick the right people to do the lines, and the people who can't just don't. Just very smart. I like that. Little note on, if you start watching the movie, there is a strobe at the beginning, and the title starts with Stormy Weather, and of course we have a storm and lightning, and there's a lot of strobe there, and I was going, oh god. And there's a strobe again in the Stormy Weather song later on, so be aware of that if that bothers you. It's just in the title sequence, And in Stormy Weather, it's 2 different sections. Yeah, there's one thing we do have to talk about is the uncomfortable imagery. There is a dance sequence quite early on where there's a big dance group that dances. I think I have the name. Catherine Dunham and her troupe, and it's like at least 20 odd girls and 10 or 15 guys. It's pretty good because it fills up the entire room, and they do a dance, and it's called a cakewalk. I didn't know what a cakewalk was, but which is all the entire ensemble on stage in wearing fancy costumes and doing this cakewalk. But the girls are wearing a sunflower. First I thought it was a sunflower mask here, but it turns out it's on the back of the head, and it's a sunflower, and in the center there are a couple of eyes and a smile. I will put a picture up here, and you can imagine what that would look in. You can see what it looks in black and white, but imagine even if it looked in color with the yellow sunflower and the brown center and the. I was going, oh my God, why? And it's supposed to be reminiscent of little black Sambo figurines, which were in historical misrepresentation of black American males. And I think this is a case of the production, which is just white Hollywood. So okay, we're doing a cakewalk number in black, so this is your costumes, and these people just have to take it, and they are smiling while they're doing the number, but you have to take it. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's not much better than nothing, but the number itself was a lot of fun. So just look around that. And it was the one moment, and the other moment is that comedy duo that had just the 2 scenes and then their own number. I was going, what? They are black. They're black, and they go to the makeup stand, and they blackface themselves. They are black, and they blackface themselves to do a comedy number on just two gentlemen bickering, and it ends up with a broken car. I'm sorry? What? And I think this is a case. I can't even blame Hollywood for this one, because I think these two have that as a standard routine. It's looked so much like a standard routine from their standard repertoire that they do all the time. A whole bunch of these numbers are like that. They're just the standard numbers that they came in and did it for the film. So I think this is standard, and my God. And the practiced way of which they put on that makeup, they do this all the time. But it is 1943, so maybe that was a thing then. I'm sorry. I was going, the fuck? One of the nicest things about this movie is that it's well produced, and the musical numbers are all good. It's all good. Barring some head scratches. I enjoyed it very much, but you have to realize that this is not meant to be a movie. It's meant to be a showcase for these acts, and so all the rest is kind of incidental, which I think is kind of unfair. If they had filmed like maybe 10-15 minutes more of plots, just Lena and Bill and Dooley and Fats, and the singer Ada Brown was also pretty good deliverer of lines. If they had done a little 15 minutes more of plots, it would have been that much better movie. But that was not the point of this movie. This point is just a filler of fun, sparkly things. The print I looked at was very nice. I can highly recommend finding like a Blu-ray or a DVD version of it, because the costumes are wonderful, and there's a lot of sequence which is very, very fine, and it looks absolutely awesome. So I can recommend finding a good version of it, but it's there for the looks. It's there for the looks. For the Lena Horne had a long career after this. She's still young, but Bill Robinson was not, and he died in '49. Penniless, by the way, which people couldn't understand why. He was somebody else had to bury him, and he got a lot of people went to go to the funeral, but Fats Waller died actually a couple of months after the film came out, which was a shame. He was also wonderful. So this is why we don't see either of those people much later. Lena Horne got a career out of it, but yeah, she ran into the problem of segregation. Where is she gonna be performing in films other than always be the singer on the stage? She did a lot. I enjoyed it very much. The particular note to the Nicholas brothers who did the very final dance number. They don't have any lines because I don't think they're very, very good at doing lines. But they do an awesome dance number where they're jumping over each other and doing things where I go, oh my God, is that safe? Probably not. But they are awesome to the point that Fred Astaire even said, yeah, that was my favorite dance number. So, can recommend? Yes, can recommend. And that is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.